What is up, everyone? We are live. and this is Money in the Bank predictions. And the hosts, as always, Dylan Koros.
Sweet, I'm upgraded to the host now. Is that what you're saying? Not just a co-host. You're just like bring it to the host. No, I'm kidding. But
Well,
anyways,
you know, the mainstay is here, and we've got Paul.
Oh, I don't even get a last name now. Okay, fine.
All right.
I see how it is.
All right. Paul
He's
Saccone.
getting the current WWE treatment. No one has last names. It's just the first name. So it's no Paul Saccone anymore. It's just Paul because WWE doesn't approve it. It's just Paul.
And I'm Robbie. Robbie D. Robbie Diltz. Whatever you want to call me.
Nope,
Rob.
it's Robbie. It won't even be ROBBIE. It'll just be like ROB-E or something stupid.
Oh God. But yeah, so this is Night of Wrestling, and like I said, Money in the Bank predictions. So before we get started with that, though, we just recently learned of a tragic passing at the young age of 39. Yes, it is still pretty young. Of former WWE diva and former WWE superstar, I guess we could say, Ashley Mazzaro. So we will take a brief 10-second moment of silence. Okay. And the first matchup that we're going to talk about on the card is the pre-show match or the kickoff show match. And originally I thought it was slated to be a SmackDown tag title match. Now, I mean, Dylan and I talked about this earlier, and he even thought that that's what it was supposed to be. But right now on Wikipedia, it just says it's a normal tag match. So, yeah. But I mean, I get it because the Usos are Raw.
Confirm that on. You guys go ahead with that. I'm going to confirm that on WWE.com.
Okay. So yeah, the Usos are Raw team, and Daniel Bryan and Rowan are SmackDown team. So already an inter-brand match, I guess you could call it, or a co-branded match. This one is a real tough one for me. I actually didn't get a whole lot of time, even though I had a lot of time during the day to think about my predictions. So these are kind of just on the spot predictions for me today. Usually that's kind of how it goes. You know what, Dylan? Let's hear what you have to say first.
Well, we got Usos from Raw, and what I like to call them now, the Planet's Champions.
The Planet's Champions.
Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Champs, in a non-title match, which I guess I'm glad that it's a non-title match just for the sole purpose that we got a Raw team versus a SmackDown team, even though it's like, who cares now that this wild card rule thing exists, but at the same time, it's like, okay, yeah. I'm going to just say Daniel Bryan and Rowan just as a random risk prediction. Not really much built up to it, I guess. Besides the vacant tag titles that were between the two that were given to the Planet's Champions, or earned by them, I should say.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with you, actually. I think that Bryan and Rowan are kind of the more dominant team in this matchup. Not saying that the Usos don't have what it takes to beat them. All I'm saying is that I think the Planet's Champions are going to come out on top, and that's not a spoiler, but it is my prediction. Paul, what do you have to say on this one?
It's not a spoiler. It's a prediction. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
you're just gonna twist the Paul Heyman thing right on its head.
That's exactly what I did.
I can't find it anywhere, so I will just assume. Oh, there we go. Hold on. I'm just looking now because for some reason my computer's choosing now to be really slow loading up websites.
That's fair.
I'm just you know what? Screw it. We'll just assume that is a non-title match. And in that sense, I'm going to say Usos win this Sunday, but then they'll go to SmackDown for a tag title match, and that's where they'll lose to Bryan and Rowan.
Interesting.
I think that's probably the safer bet, really, even though, Brian and Rowan just won the tag titles. I think that's the safer bet.
Okay. And yeah, now reading up on it, that says here on good old Wikipedia. I'm not going to read the whole long thing about it, but Usos appeared via the wildcard rule to challenge Brian and Rowan for the vacant titles in a losing effort. Following a week, a non-title match between the two teams was scheduled for Money in the Bank pre-show.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
just to get that clarified, which is good. So yeah, Paul is with the Usos, and Dylan and I are saying the Planet's champions. Fair enough. Now,
Before we go any further, I would like to just send out a special congratulations, even though I know he's probably not watching, to Jeff Connor. You guys in the Niagara indie scene might know him as Jim Nye the Science Guy, but he was named about a half a month ago, so it's not necessarily new news or breaking news, but he won in what I'm heard is a landslide victory in a fan vote to become the new Pigskin Pete. For those of you who don't know who Pigskin Pete is, Pigskin Pete is basically the face of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I know that this is something that he's wanted for a very long time, so I would like to send out just a quick congratulations to him before we get any deeper into the show.
yes, congratulations. I also voted for him as well. I think a lot of people that know him and know that he was the right choice voted for him. So big congrats to him.
Go nuts.
All right. The following matchup, the Cruiserweight Championship match. Do we think this is going to be moved to the pre-show? Probably.
There's 11 matches on the card. It's plausible, but then again, it does have a kickoff time of 7 or a start time of 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know if they've said the pre-show? Sorry to interrupt. The pre-show starts at 6 or starts at 5? Considering they technically make Money in the Bank now. It's part of the Big 5 event.
This is a new segment we call Unanswered Questions on Night of Wrestling.
Oh, man. I wonder where you stole that one from.
Oh, Funko Popcast. Go check it out on YouTube.
Gesundheit? Okay.
Robotism.
But
Tony Nese,
it wouldn't surprise me if it was moved to the pre-show, depending on how long the pre-show is. Even if it's an hour pre-show, it would still not surprise me for it to be moved, because again, there are 11 matches on this card. That is an insane amount of matches for a normal pay-per-view.
Yeah.
SummerSlam probably won't have 11 matches, So,
well, never know.
Will it be moved to the pre-show? Probably. Will it? We'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, current champion Tony Nese defending against Arya Daivari. Gonna be honest here. I haven't kept track of 205 Live in quite some time. Tony Nese just won it at WrestleMania. I don't see him losing it to Arya Daivari anytime soon, or to anybody at the moment anytime soon. So I'm going to say Tony Nese retains. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to go against Tony Nese. I like him. He's, from what I understand, he's been good for the Cruiserweight division so far. Nobody really watches 205 Live, unfortunately, which I don't know why that's the case. But yeah, I don't see him losing it right away. I don't see him being a transitional champion.
Yeah. Dylan?
Tony Nese, only because they haven't really built up Arya Daivari as a super top heel of the division to make him actually look like a threat to Tony Nese and take the title. Even though I do like Arya Daivari. Yeah, I'm going to have to say Tony Nese retains.
Okay. Now, just before we started this, we came up with the order of matches we were going to do. So I think the next matchups are the Money in the Bank ladder matches, if I'm not mistaken. So let's start with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So you've got Natalia, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Bailey, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella, and the recent addition of Nikki Cross, as we just also recently learned within the last 24 hours or so, that Alexa Bliss is not medically cleared to compete. So questionable because, she's had a couple matches here and there on Raw just to get her back into the swing of things, but I guess WWE is looking at the fact that she might not be too ready to compete in a ladder match. So I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed because I was leading towards my pick being Alexa Bliss.
Of course.
I mean, she won it last year, and she cashed in and she won the women's championship match. That followed her cashing in, obviously, because she kind of cashed it in a certain scenario where it was she attacked, I want to say, Nia with the briefcase, and then
No, I think it's Ronda.
Well, she hit Ronda with the briefcase, yes.
Yeah, it was Ronda. I think she might have hit both of them, but it was definitely Ronda first.
Okay.
No.
Well, then, anyways, that led to a disqualification. Then Alexa cashed in after, getting rid of Ronda at that point in time. Not really getting rid of, but disposing her to the outside and all that shenanigans. Anyways, so yes, that would have been my pick. But now I think the best way to do this is to pick one woman from Raw. Can't talk today. And one woman from SmackDown. And I think my pick from SmackDown is going to be Mandy Rose. Risk prediction there. And because of the role that Nikki Cross is on, I think that that'll be kind of my risk prediction for Raw. So Nikki Cross, Mandy Rose, one of those two might come out. I mean, looking at Carmella, she's been Money in the Bank winner already as well. That's a tough one, but Dylan, what do you have to say on this?
All right, so you say we have to pick a Raw and a SmackDown one. It's just
You
not
can,
full.
yeah.
Okay, so
unless you have a hamster on the wheel scenario, but
looking at all the competitors and their likeliness to win, obviously I would say from the Raw side, Dana Brooke is not going to win this. And I think the only reason that she's in the match is because of them wanting Sasha Banks, but her whole situation with WWE right now, I think, has prevented that. So that's how Dana Brooke is in the match. And let's see, the least likely of SmackDown is probably Carmella because she already won the briefcase tactically 2 times because they had the match at Money in the Bank 2 years ago and then the one on SmackDown. So they're claiming
Don't remind us.
A 2-time Money in the Bank. No, it's not CM Punk. But
that was just a mess.
But then let's see the next. Okay, so then I would say possibly Natalia would be out now, and then I would say Ember Moon because they haven't really built up Ember Moon yet. So that leaves Natalia and Nikki Cross from the Raw side and Mandy Rose and Bailey on the other. So process of elimination, I could see if I'm going to say Nikki Cross from Raw because I could see them making some sort of story about Alexa with Nikki Cross of like technically, oh, you stole my spot, even though kind of like that kind of deal, and they could fight over the briefcase kind of deal. But the SmackDown pick, and it's my actual overall pick that I think that is going to win this is Bailey.
Interesting.
I would say I was thinking Mandy, but they're kind of teasing potentially a breakup with Mandy and Sonya They've been doing that the last couple of weeks, so potentially Sonya could actually accidentally screw over Mandy in the match on Sunday.
Okay. Now that whole Sasha Banks thing. As Dylan drinks a Slurpee out of his Deadpool popcorn thing.
Yes, bring your own cup day. But anyways, what were you saying?
I mean, you never know. They could return Sasha as a heel and attack Dana and take her spot, but
that's the only way I think Raw will have the women's briefcase.
Yeah.
Is if Sasha does that. But other than that, SmackDown, someone from SmackDown, and I say it's going to be Bayley, is going to take that briefcase on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been hearing rumblings of possible Sasha Banks and all that. But anyways, Paul, what do you think on this one?
I'll tell you this much. I don't think Sasha's showing up.
Okay.
I just don't see it happening. It's a very... I'm not going to speculate very far on this issue because it is very much an internal issue, and I try not to do that as much as possible. But it's a very delicate situation. It seems like neither side is going to come to any sort of agreement anytime soon. I don't see her showing up. And if she does, I'll be genuinely surprised. As far as a prediction here, there's a couple that I would like to take it for. I would like to see Natalya take it just by virtue of how long she's been there. Bayley would be interesting. Mandy Rose, I think, is a solid choice for SmackDown. Simply because, you talked about that whole teased breakup thing. I think the briefcase and the possibility of her cashing it in on either the Raw or SmackDown Women's Champion because of that wild card rule. I hope that's a thing where it's for either title now as opposed to just the one. It would just be an interesting thing for, Sonya to just kind of ruin the party or ruin the moment kind of thing. Nikki Cross. It's a safe bet to go with Nikki, even though she was just added to the match. So I'll say Mandy or Nikki between those two.
Okay.
Just because those are the two that you can kind of do the most with moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can come up with some creative things to do storyline-wise with them. So, alrighty. The next ladder match, the men's ladder match. So, from Raw, you have Sami Zayn, who just got recently added by beating Braun Strowman in basically what was a 3-on-1 Falls Count Anywhere match, technically. But no, it was Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn this past Monday on Raw. With the help, like I said, Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. So those two are also in the match. And we also have Ricochet, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. So this was a pretty decently stacked ladder match, to be honest. Lots of big-time names in there. We have Randy Orton, who's already won a Money in the Bank ladder match. We've got Andrade, a new face in that ladder match, which kind of is standing out to me. I want to hear your guys' predictions first, so let's go with Dylan first.
All right, so back to the whole process of elimination deal. From each side, I would say the least likely is Ricochet and Ali because I think they just got put in the match to do a bunch of high-flying stuff to make the match a little flashy. So that's how they'll be built up in the match. Then I would say Baron Corbin and Randy Orton not going to win because they've been previous Money in the Bank winners, as I think you mentioned just a bit ago.
That is true.
So that leads to, from the SmackDown side, Andrade and Finn Balor, and that also leads to Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. So It would be cool kind of for Finn Balor to be the next guy instead of Miz, to be someone who's won the briefcase while holding a, I guess, mid-card title, even though the Intercontinental has a lot of prestige. And then Andrade has been such a workhorse, and as a heel, he could definitely use that briefcase to his advantage. And then we got Drew McIntyre, who really, really deserves to be in the main event spot as a world champion. And then we got Sami Zayn, who seems like a likely option. So now I do think my overall pick is going to be a Raw guy. I can't really see, as much as I want Andrade to potentially win or have a chance. I think him and Balor are slated to feud against each other for that IC belt.
I would not mind that one bit.
But however, my SmackDown pick, I'll say my SmackDown pick for the sake will be Andrade, just because Balor has the IC title. But down to the Raw pick, it's kind of hard with these two superstars, because technically Strowman could interfere in the match and attack Corbin, McIntyre, and Sami Zayn for Monday, which it looks like they could lean towards the SmackDown side statistically, but with the little loopholes that I've been trying to figure out, I'm just going to say McIntyre is going to be my Raw prediction and my overall pick.
Interesting. Paul, what do you think?
See, I disagree with you kind of taking out Ali right away. I think Ali, there's a story there, and it could lead into him taking the title off of Kofi. Saying, that was my spot in the Elimination Chamber match. Then you had this huge wave of momentum that should be all mine. I should be the champion right now, not you, yada, yada, yada. So for that reason, I'm going to say Ali probably will take the whole thing. But if not, then he's at least my pick from SmackDown. As far as Raw goes, Drew is overdue. They've been kind of going for it and then pulling back, going for it, pulling back. I wouldn't say Drew necessarily needs the briefcase to become champion. And that's the only reason why I'm not making him my overall pick for this match. But I will agree that he is overdue for a title run, and I hope it is sooner rather than later. I just don't think this is the avenue to do it. So I'm going to make my pick Ali, and it will be a successful cash-in on Kofi Kingston.
That is a very bold prediction, sir. Very bold, but I like it.
It's crazy. I didn't even think about the whole. Yeah, that's true, because it was Mustafa Ali's spot at Elimination Chamber before he had that eye injury.
But you know what? I like Andrade as my SmackDown pick, and I also feel like he might be my overall pick as well. So that's going to be that. But for Raw, you bring up a good point. Drew McIntyre doesn't necessarily need the briefcase to win the world title. However, this might be just a closer way for him to actually get to the world title picture, even though he's already like a established heel on Raw. So I think the safe bet is Drew McIntyre on the Raw side for the Raw prediction of the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men's. So
I am going to say, however, if Sami Zayn does win, because I thought about Sami Zayn the last few days. If he does, don't be surprised if Sami Zayn wins, because it will make some pretty interesting promo segments with the briefcase.
It would. He's been pretty...
Some of Sami Zayn's segments have been the best things on Monday Night Raw. And I say some because let's not take out those Firefly Funhouse.
Yes, love those too. I just can't wait to see why
we're really you're our friend. Great, damn it, Dylan! Now it's stuck in my head.
Never ever ends.
The
most entertaining stuff I've seen in a very long time, and
if only this was a mask, and if it was more scarier, yowie wowie.
Jesus.
Just slightly distorted audio.
Oh God. Classic. Now we move on to the United States Championship match between Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio. Now, this match was supposed to be longer, but due to Rey Mysterio having an injury at the time, it was only a short match at WrestleMania between the two. So, this is the rematch.
Short match. Wasn't that match like a minute?
No, a minute's still technically short.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, like whether it would be a minute, minute and a half, whatever it was, I can't exactly remember, to be honest. I'm sure Wikipedia actually has that information.
It was definitely less than a minute.
Yeah.
I think it was around the 50-second mark, somewhere around there.
Something like that. Paul, what's your prediction on this matchup?
You know, it's hard to say. It would be cool for Ray to have one last title run, but I'm not sure. This is one where honestly you could flip a coin, and it wouldn't make a difference either way for me. I'll say Ray.
Okay. And the actual time apparently via Wikipedia says 1 minute exactly for that match at Mania. So,
Booyah! Price is right rule. Give me my extra $500.
Jeez. So Paul says Rey Mysterio. All right, Dylan.
This one, like Paul said, it could go either way, especially with Dominic in this storyline.
Don't even get me started.
And because Dominic could help Ray win the title, but at the same time, Dominic could potentially turn his back on his dad, or at least accidentally cost his dad the match. I'm going to say Samoa Joe, just for the fact I would love for him to have a long title reign with it. Like, not so long, but obviously longer than what he's only had for, like, what, 2 months? The belt,
like
give or take.
He's had it longer than that, hasn't he?
I thought it was like February, so okay, it's like 3 months, I guess.
We're pushing 4 months if it's February, sir.
March, April, May. It's May. 3 months. February, March, April, May. That's 3 months.
February, March, April, May.
You don't count the month that he wins it on. But
anyways, to double back, are you saying that somewhere down the line we're gonna get freaking Dominic versus Ray?
I think that is the case.
A father versus son match. Where have we seen that before?
Ray, you're not my dad.
Where have we seen that before? No. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I see what.
Oh, okay.
No, but
we did it first. We did it best.
There's always been pain also from WrestleMania 17. Just saying that was a father-son match, but no. Yeah, that match could. I don't know. I could see them booking it at SummerSlam when it comes to Toronto, if it happens. But but anyways, I'm saying final thing without any more explanation. Samoa Joe, and he'll lose it to. Even though Rey Mysterio would be awesome for him to become another Grand Slam champion, because he needs that title to win the Grand Slam. So, Samoa Joe.
Oh.
Paul's a little confused.
Well, I just thought Ray was already like a United States champion. Or did I hear that wrong?
Might have heard that wrong. I don't recall him.
I think I heard that wrong.
Ever.
Anyway, to you.
To me. My prediction. Samoa Joe. I think he definitely needs it a bit longer, like Dylan said. That is my only explanation as to why I think Samoa Joe will win. Other than Dominic possibly, I don't know, screwing Ray over. It's plausible. And now I'm using some words from Paul, as in plausible. But yeah, I think Samoa Joe is going to retain. And will Ray win it eventually? if they continue the feud, maybe, but I don't know. So, however, moving on to the next matchup we're going to talk about is the steel cage match between The Miz and Shane McMahon. I do believe we're going to get to there first. I might be screwing up the order already, maybe not, but we'll talk about that match. I think The Miz is winning this matchup, to be honest. I think The Miz should have won at WrestleMania against Shane. I don't like the ending of that matchup very much. And this is where I think Miz will rebound and get a win. And that's basically it from me. Paul, what do you think?
For one, I actually love the ending of that match. I do like the idea of the fact that, Miz did this crazy move, which was just basically a superplex. But still, the fact that they did what they did with that and made that the ending of the match, I actually really like that. I think that's a really good idea. But anyways, to get to this match, I think Miz is going to take this one. I think it's time for this feud to just kind of end. Hopefully, Miz's dad tries to climb the cage. That would be awesome. But yeah, I think it is wisest to go with. I think it is the wisest to go with Miz in this match.
Yeah. Dylan?
This match has Miz's win written all over it. I kind of figured that that the feud was going to continue after Mania. I think maybe even regardless whether who won, even though I actually did predict that Shane was going to win on the last episode of Night of Wrestling, and he ended up. Finish was awesome. Finish was awesome considering that technically, in a superplex, the guy who's taking it is on top of you at the end. So
yeah,
so
great.
And but yeah, Steve. Yeah, this will probably be the end. Even though I did say the last episode that this feud will end when that Best in the World trophy is on the line. However, I do like Shane getting his heel heat when Greg Hamilton announces the Best in the World, Shane McMahon.
He is the best in the world.
But yeah, this feud will probably end with Miz winning, and then Shane will probably move on to, I'm guessing, probably Roman.
Makes sense. Yeah. I definitely think that will probably happen. I do like the scenario though with the Best in the World trophy being on the line. It just makes sense. But I mean, if they're not going to go that route, then this has to be the ending of the feud. And all we hear is birds tweeting in the background. I think the bird agrees with me and Dylan.
Yeah, I think. Wait, is it on my end, or because it sounds like it's on my end, but then I don't know if it was.
I don't know. I heard a bird or two over here too.
I
think we're all just hearing birds.
Oh,
it's the same bird in 3 different places at one time.
The bird wants.
They all agreed. It was like a pack of birds. So like, all right, 2 of you go to Robbie's, 2 of you go to Paul's, and 2 of you go to Dylan's, and at the same time.
tweet. Oh God, we're getting off track here.
And this is different from any other night of wrestling. How?
It's not different anyhow. All right, next match is a normal singles match between the biggest acquisition on SmackDown, Elias, as Vince McMahon would say, or the supposed to be biggest acquisition, I guess, the big dog, Roman Reigns.
Where's Michael Cole? Say, the big dog, Roman Reigns. Byron Saxton doesn't actually even say the big dog, so it's kind of like a relief. But obviously, when the last couple of Raws when Roman showed up for the wild card rule, all we hear is the big dog, Roman Reigns, and Michael Cole just like gets super excited. It's like, but anyways, so who's starting this first?
We're starting with you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I thought we were just okay. Anyways, I would love for Elias to win this match. Just like get this huge win to establish him as a super top heel, which I feel like that's what they're doing. They're establishing Elias as like this top heel of SmackDown, like eventually go after even the world title, I would say. But it's the Roman Reigns comeback tour. So you know what? The big dog is going to take it.
Paul, what do you think?
I would like for Roman to take it. In my heart, I know Roman's going to take it. It'd be really cool if Elias took this, though. You know, because he doesn't get any respect, that Elias guy. It'd be nice for Elias to take this, I think. That said, as far as a prediction goes, a concrete prediction, it's hard to bet against Roman.
It really is. So are you saying Roman then?
Yes, but it's very tentative. It's like I want Elias to win more, but in terms of giving a prediction, then I'd say Roman, you know?
Yeah. In my heart of hearts, I want Elias to win. But I'm going to go with the big dog on this one as well. I don't know. I just really want Elias to win this one, though. I think we all do. It's hard.
Yeah. It's hard to say, you know. Like, Dylan's actually said Elias, you know.
Yeah.
Big dog.
I'll go with the safe bet, Roman Reigns.
Roman. 3 for Roman.
All right. Now we'll get to back-to-back matchups that we discussed that we wanted to just go with instead of backtracking. I guess the first one we'll talk about is the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky defends it against Lacey Evans. So we got Becky 2 belts versus the Sassy Southern Belle. Between the two matchups, actually, the SmackDown and the Raw Women's Championships, if there's one title that she might give up, I do not think it's going to be the Raw Women's title, to be fair. She's had that big thing with Ronda Rousey and trying to go after the Raw Women's Championship. And just picking up the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania was a bonus for her. So, I mean, like, I think that she will defeat Lacey Evans. Not saying that Lacey Evans isn't a good pick to be Raw Women's Champion, but the question there is it too soon for Lacey Evans? Having just kind of been finally added to the Raw roster after, going back and forth between brands, coming out and saying absolutely nothing and just walking backstage after. Like, she's had some pretty great matches so far. She had that one against Natalia, and she won that match, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken.
That was wait. Yeah, okay. It was Natalia. Because that was the match of who was getting that Raw Women's title match at Monday.
Yeah. And Lacey completely just like landed on Natalia with that moonsault. Crazy. Anyways, but yeah, no. So my pick, Becky 2 belts, retains the Raw Women's Championship. And you know what? While we're at it, I'm gonna say Charlotte becomes Charlotte 9 reigns, possibly. I think that's gonna be a prediction there. Paul, what do you think?
So you were saying, is it too soon for Lacey?
I
And
don't
I could see,
think, but
I could understand how one would think that way.
mhm.
But didn't Finn Balor come from NXT to Raw, and then within a month he was a Universal Champion?
First ever Universal Champion.
Exactly. So if it wasn't too soon for Finn, it's not too soon for Lacey. She's been on the main roster for a little bit now. And why are you picking now to mow the grass, neighbor?
Now a better time than any, I guess. But,
Okay.
we won't let it stop us.
I'm going to turn this up just so I can hear you guys better later. I'm really high on Lacey Evans. I would like for her to take the title. So, if it comes down to Becky retains one, loses the other, I would rather she loses to Lacey as opposed to losing to Charlotte. So I'm going to go with Lacey Evans. And then she retains against Charlotte after the fact.
That's completely fair. Dylan?
All right.
This is the part where Dylan just goes completely against the green and says something that neither of us was expecting.
So I'm going to say Becky will defeat Lacey Evans by disqualification so that Lacey Evans still looks kind of strong and not really, I guess, as a lot of people use the term, buried. But I'm thinking Lacey attacks the leg that's been bothering Becky for so long, and she's got to go. Yeah, since January. Yeah.
Let the injury go.
And she's gonna walk. Becky's gonna walk into the match with her leg injury against Charlotte, and I think you know what, Becky's pulling it off. She's gonna be Becky 2 belts going in and Becky 2 belts going off. She's gonna prove that even with one leg, she can beat Charlotte 1-on-1, and not because it was a triple threat and she beat Ronda. So. And then that will finally be over. Not that I hate Charlotte versus Becky, because trust me, their Evolution match is probably at least in the top 5, top 10, like greatest women's matches of all time, I would say. But I think for right now, I think a lot of people don't want to keep watching that match. So you know what? Becky's pulling it off. She's gonna beat Lacey Evans, and she's going to beat Charlotte Flair and beat Becky 2 belts by the end of the night.
Okay. As I was sitting here and listening to your predictions, eating these delicious cheese-flavored Ritz Bits sandwiches.
Ritz Bits? Who's the brand on that? Christie, right? Sponsor us.
Yes, Christy.
Sponsor us.
Wait until you get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views in the last 12 months so that you get paid to do this, Robbie, before you make advertisements.
Send us endless boxes of Ritz Bits.
Yes, please.
Actually, please do that, Christie Company. Please do that.
Man. That would be just lovely. However, enough of that. We move on to the 2 world title matches now. We're going to start actually off with KO, Kevin Owens, the exact shirt that Paul is wearing, Canada version. And we've got KO, FI, Kofi Kingston. And, I think that this is going to be quite a match to watch. And, I'm kind of disappointed. I don't get to watch Money in the Bank the night of because I'm working. So I get to watch this all later. So no spoilers. So I'm going to obviously try the best I can to avoid social medias.
Spoiler, Matthew Mounty enters the match of Money in the Bank and wins the briefcase. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no. It's like that whole hashtag I see it a lot. Don't ruin the end game, or don't spoil the end game. That's it.
Don't spoil the money.
Don't spoil the money, please.
Don't rob the bank.
Ooh, I like that one.
Creative. So yeah, Kofi versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. This one's a tough one for me too because I really like Kevin Owens. And I also like Kofi as WWE Champion. Hashtag Kofi Mania. He did it. He actually did it.
I know. I think that was everyone's reaction. Like, there were some people like crying and whatnot, but most people were like, "Oh my god, they're actually running with this."
Mm-hmm. I think Kofi hangs on to it heading into the WWE Super Showdown. They're actually calling that Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia next month. I mean, didn't we get Super Showdown in Australia though? So why are they calling
There is a
that?
difference, though. There is no dash in between Showdown.
Oh.
It's one word.
Totally different show entirely.
Whoa.
And this show doesn't have people way past their prime competing in. Oh wait.
Oh. Well,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that eventually, but we still got 2 more matches to talk about. I'm going to quickly say Kofi holds on to it. Dylan?
Are we waiting for me? It kind of cut out in my
Dylan?
head, so I didn't know who you're saying.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Owens will like dominate the majority of the match, but Kofi will still pull off the victory. And I think the feud will continue going into Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia.
Don't let the shirt
Paul?
fool you. Kofi Kingston retains the title.
Okay. So that was a quick prediction from you. Let's keep it to you, and we'll finish off with the final matchup: Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. Universal
We're keeping with me? Okay.
Mhm.
I am excited for this match. I think a lot of people for the longest time were like, this match needs to happen. Because AJ, well, he's phenomenal. No pun intended.
Wow.
No pun intended, I know. And then Seth Rollins is consistently the best thing about Monday nights. Anytime, well, you know, up until the Firefly Funhouse, but that was just so absurd it was entertaining. I'm gonna say this right now, and this just kind of popped into my head as I was saying that last bit. Seth defeats AJ. That he celebrates. That is cut off by the returning Bray Wyatt. That sets up Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt for the Universal title at Super Showdown.
I like it. Dylan, what do you think?
For a while, I was thinking that we would not have a definitive winner in this match because the Money in the Bank winner, in my case, it would be Drew McIntyre, would cash in and take the title. However, I'm thinking, you know what? Seth will win the match. And unfortunately, okay, so Seth will win the match, and not unfortunately that he won't win a match. My next part, I'm going to say unfortunately, and I think it's not necessarily, it might not happen, but it could happen. We've seen it before, but don't be surprised. Seth Rollins wins the match and gets attacked by a returning Brock Lesnar to set up them two for their rematch at Super Showdown, since Brock Lesnar's scheduled for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's more likely, isn't it? Darn it.
Yeah, as much as I really don't like that. But honestly, yes, I don't think that AJ will walk out of Money in the Bank as champion.
And I don't think the Money in the Bank person's going to cash in, because we already seen someone cash in Money in the Bank last year in the same night.
Alexa Bliss.
So why 2 years in a row? That's why I kind of swayed it away from that idea. But Seth wins. He'll have like a baby-faced handshake, like, yeah, good match, blah, 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 attacked by Lesnar.
Too sweet. That's what people do these days.
Why did I want to say something about, like, you know, the club coming out at some point, though? I don't know.
It probably won't happen.
It won't.
I wouldn't put money on that.
No. It doesn't need them. It's AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. I was about to say AJ Styles and Finn Balor, but we already saw that. But no.
The Club versus Shield confirmed. Dean Ambrose is coming back as John Moxley. Confirmed. No.
God, no. Seth Rollins retains. That's all I gotta say. Do I think Brock Lesnar is gonna come and set up that match for Saudi Arabia? Plausible. Bray Wyatt. I like it. We'll see what happens. All set to take place this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities for this.
Yeah.
But I think Bray Wyatt would be the more likely one.
But yeah, we will find out Sunday. Sunday.
Sunday.
There are, I know, a couple things that need to be plugged from you, Paul. The floor is yours.
I don't think there's really anything that needs to be plugged, actually, unless I forgot something. Is there something I'm forgetting?
Well, beforehand, you wanted to talk about something that's happening in June.
Which one? There's a couple things happening in June.
Well, I mean, we will get back to you on the TakeOver 25 predictions as well as Saudi Arabia show predictions, because I think we discussed that we will do.
Yeah, that's like a week apart from one another, isn't it?
You know what I'm thinking? Those are like a week apart. So what? We're gonna have Night of Wrestling.
We'll probably just double up.
Yeah, we'll probably double up on the one episode.
Because I can't imagine any additions will be done, That means they have 2 weeks to do this big international show, which has already a 50-man battle royal. What are they going to do?
Yeah, they've already announced a few matches. They announced the 50-man battle royal, so that means that I would assume everyone's in the ring at the same time because it's not a Royal Rumble.
Which means they're going to have a giant ass ring.
I heard the second annual Greatest Royal Rumble match.
I heard it
Wikipedia
was.
says.
Oh,
Wikipedia
yeah, it does
battle
say. It does. Oh, you can't even see that. But yeah,
we got a match that I'm kind of pumped about, but kind of not, is Randy Orton and Triple H. I mean, they can pull off.
And then there's a match that would have been great even 10 years ago in Goldberg versus The Undertaker, which, again, would have been great 10 years ago. That now,
Bill, go easy on me. I got to go to Niagara Falls, Ontario in 2 days.
Yeah. No, don't take it easy on me. I got to board the plane right after this match. Basically, is what's going to happen.
Jeez.
I am excited for that, however. I'm not sure if there are still tickets available. I know they released a small block.
Which
Undertaker photo.
Bought the photo op. So I was able to get
I put the photo op too.
And if they still got, by the end of the month, they still got that block open, autograph ticket I'm getting. So
fingers crossed, because I've got something that I would like for him to sign, but if it doesn't end up happening, oh well. And then, we got NWX that same night. Hostile Takeover, I believe this show is called.
Yeah, I think that's it.
No matches announced for that, but we'll see what happens. In terms of anything worth plugging, besides that, Niagara Falls Comic-Con, the weekend of the 7th, 8th, and 9th of June. NWX Hostile Takeover, the 9th of June in the evening, I believe 7 p.m. bell time.
The Warehouse 11 Geneva.
Besides that, I can't think of anything. I'll do a better job plugging it next week, though, we're here for TakeOver 25 and Super Showdown.
All right. Other than that, Dylan, you got anything to add?
I was hoping you asked me to plug in. Midnight Tonight, brand new edition of my podcast with my buddy Matt called A Funko Popcast. We have the part 1 of May 2019 edition releasing at midnight tonight. So watch that. Maybe I'll send you potentially the link for it so that it'll be in your description so people can click on it, but who knows. But or just search up A Funko Popcast or follow it on Instagram at A Funko Popcast. The link will be in the description when it gets released. other than that, I guess nothing for me anyways, besides that.
I
So,
would just like to make sure it's a Funko Popcast. It sounded like a podcast, but a Funko Popcast.
yeah, pop. That's what I said. But yes,
Yo,
you get confused. So that's the same podcast. It's about Funko Pops and just Pops.
you know, like
Yes,
that.
Yes,
exactly
a Funko,
what-
point at the screen,
Featuring-
Pop,
Featuring
Cats.
Fan Expo exclusive Bob Ross. So
Which,
there you go.
is a pop that we didn't discuss this month because it wasn't an announcement. However, sneak peek, Toy Story 4, Way to a Fortnite, the E3 2019 exclusives, and the Season 3 of Stranger Things pops get discussed in this podcast. So tune in if you want to listen about those.
And go follow a Funko Popcast.
A Funko Pop Cast on Instagram.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. That is all the time we have for this episode of Night of Wrestling. MD Shady, your co-host of a Funko Podcast, just sent me something, so I'm going to go look at that in a minute. But this has been Night of Wrestling. Thank you again, Paul and Dylan, as always, my fellow hosts. I can say now, I guess, because you guys have been mainstays.
Now. We get that.
Official.
We drop the we get that host payday now.
Yeah, sure. I'm not paying you well enough, but sure. All right.
Once those 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views in the last 12 months hits, then we'll be getting some sort of payday. No, but, giving away free advertising.
Sponsor us, Christine. I'm just kidding. Anyways, this has been Night of Wrestling. We will see you, I guess, next week for the Takeover and Saudi Arabia show.
Already next week.
Assuming that there have been adequate matches announced for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, if we don't think they have a full card, I have no problem doing this 3 weeks in a row. If you guys don't,
mind. I really don't mind.
Right.
But anyways, that's it. Thank
Till
you guys
then.
for watching.
Yowie wowie.